Hello, this is Ron from Joaracrafts, and today we're trying a new technique. As you might see, this mold is a bit colorful right now. It's after some experiments. This technique has been quite tricky to get to, but it's called the Petri Dish, and we'll be using the Petri Dish to create what I'm calling right now the Atomic Swamp dice set. And the Petri Dish effect, it's something that I've been trying for a long time. I've been trying with several different colors or variants of the white alcohol ink. As you can see, these two, for example, did not work, or the effect was not so great. And after doing some research, a lot of people recommend Piñata Blanco Blanco, so this one. So that's basically what we'll be using today. I have mixed some resin, and now we'll start with the base. So we want to have one color for the whole dice. Okay, so the main color is going to be a mix between these two alcohol inks, so it's avocado and turquoise. I'll start by putting mostly these turquoise. It's going to be quite a few drops. And this color was a bit difficult to actually get to. It took me a couple of tries. First I got the color once and I really liked it. But then when I started, or tried to do it again, I couldn't get it to work. The first time I did it was like this kind of bluish green, and it looked very mystical. So I wanted to get that color again. So let's see. I'm hoping I can get it again today, since I have taken notes of how many drops of which I need to get. Right now it's a tiny bit green, so maybe I need to drop at least one more of turquoise. It's a bit too green. I'll add one more turquoise. Although in the camera it shows a bit bluish. Well, it's always a bit difficult with these things. It shows one thing in person, and then on the camera it shows a different color. Well, let's see, maybe this will make a bit of a difference. This makes it a bit better as well. Yeah, the camera doesn't want to focus it, does it? There you go. Yeah, it is a bit more on the bluish side. I'm happy with that color actually. Alright, so how do we do a Petri Dish effect? That's the interesting part over here. We're not gonna mix any more colors with resin. It's actually just gonna be the green resin. But we'll pour it directly into the mold, and we want to pour it like around 70 to 80% or so of the mold. So we can get started with that. I usually like to fill any of the dice and then go to the D4, just because otherwise the tip gets a bit of a bubble. We'll go here a bit. Now the number 4 should be sharp, just like all the other sides. And the D4 is also a bit tricky because it's very easy to overfill it, since it's such a small dice in comparison to all the others. Just realized that you might have noticed a difference on my voice today. That's because we got a new microphone. I'm hoping it doesn't get too weird, but we're also experimenting as we do these videos and trying to figure new things out. And we thought the new microphone was needed, since just recording from the phone was always catching a bit too much noise going around. And at least like this, we hope that sound is a bit more consistent, that I don't have to tweak the audio as much, and that my voice comes out more clearer in the videos as well. Okay, I think that's filled up well enough. As you can see right now, it's just this kind of bluish green. But now we're going to do the actual Petri Dish effect. And we want to use lavender for the color and use the Blanco Blanco for the actual effect. The thing about Blanco Blanco is that this color is just a regular white, but the brand makes a pigment that's heavier than regular alcohol inks or regular white alcohol inks. So what this is going to do is that when you place purple, the white will actually sink to the bottom. So I can show you what it's going to look like. Now I'm going to start on a D6. I'm going to drop a couple of ink droplets on the dice, and I'll just go around and I'll just fill all the dice with the same color all around. And depending on how big the dice is, you can probably add less drops. Before I'll probably just add a couple rather than 3. There you go. Now all of them are purple, and we want to add the white on top, so it can start sinking and mixing with the purple. So here we go. I'll drop one more. And as you can see, it's starting to get darker as well. This means that the white is falling and the purple is taking over. And what this is going to do is that it's going to give some sort of mushroomy effect. Or, yeah, it's a bit, kind of looks a bit yucky at first. But once the dice is complete, it looks very, very cool. It's almost as if like there's a poison swamp or there's some sort of bacteria growing inside. It's very, very cool. It's a very difficult effect to make something that looks very nice. And I mean, these dice are not going to be like the prettiest dice or anything like that, but they look very fantastical in a way. That's kind of what I was hoping to get, something a bit more morbid, but also pretty in a way. With this effect, it's always a bit of a mystery, really. It's like it's a bit random how the tendrils go through the dice itself. So the way we're doing it is that we're dropping the color 3 times, and in between we're using the white. So the white only goes twice. This is now the second time I'm dropping some white on top. And then we'll add some purple right after this. I recommend not using more than this amount, or at least not a lot more, since adding too much alcohol into your mix can be quite troublesome. And then the top face here of like the 0s and the 1s, the lowest number, might actually not cure properly. And that's not great when that happens. And that actually happened to one of my experiments where the D6, the 1, the top face had a giant bubble on one of the sides. And there was nothing I could do then because there was only ink there. After a couple of minutes to let the paint sink, we can now pour the rest of the resin and then finally close the mold. So there is actually a very particular way to do this. I don't think I've quite grasped how it's done yet, but I can try to explain it a bit. So the idea is that you want to pour the resin around the mold or around the dice area itself and then cover it on top. Right now it still gets a bit messy when I do it. The way I've seen these, the way to make these dice is through Druid Dice, which has done quite a nice guide on how to do this, so I recommend checking out, and I might link it on the description below as well. If I remember, of course. I will do my best to remember. I usually try my best to get all the details down there. Anyway, I want to try and pour the resin around the area where the resin is right now, or the dice is going to be, and then I'll try to cover it quickly. And I'm pretty sure that's how you get the effect to basically stay inside. It gets a bit messy. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. Probably not. There's probably something more to it, but I'll try to show you what I mean. Alright, so let's get the pour in. Okay, so that was basically the idea. You want to pour on top in a way to prevent the purple from pouring out as much. Mine still is coming out quite a lot, so maybe not doing it the best way. But so far the effect has stayed there, so I don't find it so troublesome right now. I will continue doing the rest. Okay, and like I mentioned, I'm not super sure if I'm doing this 100% correctly, but when I in this part I just try to keep the purple a bit more concentrated in its spot, because I know that when I put the lid on it, this is just gonna go everywhere. It's gonna come out, and I don't want the purple to just vanish away. So I'll try to just mix it in on top. I could probably actually pour the purple into the cup itself and just make some purple there, but I mean, so far that has not been needed yet, so I think this is fine to just do it this way. But the idea is that the purple should remain on the top of the dice. Okay, I'm just gonna do what I usually do and pour a tiny bit of resin in these numbers on the top, just so we don't see major air bubbles. In the future, what I would like to eventually manage is to not do so much of this around the dice. I've been getting a bit better at not getting so much resin waste all around in other dice sets, but with this technique I'm still learning to grasp it, which is, yeah, get a bit tricky, but I think eventually I will get it. But yeah, that is it. Now we wait 24 hours to check how these look like. I'm a bit concerned about that one. Kind of looks like there might be an air bubble there. Tricky. Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just go like this. So this is how the dice are turning out so far, after some sanding and some scraping the remaining resin after sanding the dice as well. And yeah, they have this very cool Petri Dish, mushroomy, swampy effect. And I really like the combination between the purple and the bluish green colors. Now we'll paint the numbers, and for this dice set I experimented a bit, and I really liked this D&D paint Succubus Red. The only issue with it is that it doesn't really mix super well from the bottle, so even if you shake it, it's still not going to be super good. But you can put it in a wet palette or just put it on the side and then paint the numbers like that. And I'll be using this very used up brush, and you can do the same. Like, it's not a problem at all, since you need to wipe off the excess paint anyway. Any brush will do so. And here's how the dice are looking after getting cleaned up. They still look super nice. The swampy effect is looking great, and it goes super well with this color. I think it's very readable, be it in the blue side or on the purple side. And it also helps that it's not a boring color like a black or a white, and it gives a bit of a pop of color as well. So I'm really happy with this final product. And now I want to show you like a bit of a thought process that was here. It's like it all started with me wanting to do some sort of atomic bomb kind of look to the dice. So I wanted to do like the main color plus do a pipette push for purple, and I just kind of fell on this bluish green and then purple, and I thought that might look pretty cool. And I did try with pipette, and as you can see, the effect wasn't like super extraordinary. Maybe it's something with either technique, and I'm still not super good at it, or just not the best way to do it, or something like that. But yeah, I just didn't like the effect too much. But then I was like thinking, maybe with Petri Dish it would look cool. The thing with Petri Dish is that I wasn't super good with it yet, but I managed to get this Blanco paint that everyone says it's like the best way to do it. So yeah, I just gave it a try and checked how it looked like. And that's when I fell into this trouble that I didn't remember how to do this first bluish green color. So yeah, I had to experiment a couple of times, and first I got this much greener color, and yeah, then after a few attempts to make the dice again, I think I did 2 different green colored sets, and even the purple was also different, so I tried different purples, and then I got this comparison, like I got green, and I got purple, and then I finally got a greenish bluish color, and I really liked the purple that went with it. So yeah, that's basically how it went. It's like, and I really like, I mean, I still like the green one as well, but this bluish green was like probably the best one. That's the best color combination I could get, and I really liked it. I think it was nice to share the thought process between these dice sets. But yeah, with that gone through, we can move on to doing some dice rolls and some glamour shots. And that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, and share the video with your friends. Please also leave a like and a comment to the video. Thank you very much, and have a great day. See you next time.